Hi guys, welcome to my Love and Grace with Laurie. So I have been reading this copy of my friend's new book. It's in the editing phase and it's really awesome, and it's helping people like you and me discover God's unique dream for our lives, like what we were created to do, what we were made to do, what we're passionate about. And it like steps you through and walks you through. And so then reading her book and marking all the spots that I love. Anyway, super talented Christy Marcotte. It's going to be coming out soon. So excited for her. And she's been coaching me. I've said on a few videos, like, she is my coach and she's been encouraging and inspiring me in so many ways. But, you know, there's a section in here that talks about scripture and memorizing scripture. And I know I could do more of that. And I used to carry scriptures around in my purse on little note cards, and I haven't done that for a while. Anyway, I picked this verse and I wrote it out. And I wanted to talk to you about this because I know that some of you really need to hear what I have to say today. Just because life can really beat you up. You can feel really hurt by people, and experiences, seasons in your life can really beat you up. And I wanted to show you the difference between God and people. And I didn't even realize, like, this was a problem for me until I read the verse. But I really want you to listen, because maybe this is your hang up with God. You know, maybe this is your hang up with God, you know. This was a hang up for me. This is Ephesians 1:18, and it says, "My prayer is that light will flood your hearts and you will understand the hope given to you when God chose you. Then you will discover the glorious blessings that will be yours together with all God's people." So I know it kind of has a couple of sentences there. It says quite a bit. But there's a couple of parts in here that really tripped me up. And I wanted to tell you why. And I wanted to know if you get tripped up here too. And I wanted to kind of just straighten some things out and just help you a little bit. Because I feel like when I faced like what was tripping me up, it was like I started seeing the truth here. My prayer is that light will flood your hearts. Light will flood your hearts, and you will understand the hope given to you when God chose you. The words that stood out to me were, God chose you. Laurie, God chose you. When I looked at all the other versions of this verse, it didn't say it that way. And I picked this one, the CEV version, the Christian version. How come I can't even think of it right now? Anyway, when God chose you, I like that it said that, and that's why I chose this version. When God chose you. And then, after I liked it, I read back through it, and I was like, I felt uncomfortable with that part that says, when God chose you. And I'm like, but I love that before. God chose me. I'm chosen. I'm chosen. How great it feels to be chosen. And then I remembered the times when I wasn't chosen. Like the times in gym class when I was chosen last. Not second, not third, but last. Y'all, I was a skinny, scrawny, small, tiny child in gym class growing up. And I was picked last, like all the time. Like I knew it was going to happen. You know, I wasn't athletic. I wasn't as big and strong as the other kids. Like I don't blame them. I was tiny. I was small. But at that time, like it hurt as a kid to be picked last in gym class, you know, bombardment and dodgeball and all those games that terrified me, completely terrified me. Who of you remember those, are with me? Yeah, no, hated those games. And some people were really great at it, but that wasn't me. But I'll let you off the hook. I wouldn't have chose me either. I was small, I was tiny, I couldn't throw, I couldn't catch, and I was afraid of the ball. Like all of that, okay? But when I got to this place, when God chose you. At first I loved it. Oh my goodness, God chose me. And then I remembered all the times that I was chosen, but it wasn't first, it wasn't second, it wasn't third, it was usually last. And then I was like, when God chose me, did he pick me last? Was I his second choice? Was I his fifth choice? Was I his last pity choice? Nobody wants to be picked last. And pretty much none of us really want to be chosen second either, do we? But you know what I know about this? As I really just read through it and meditated on it, and I know the character of God, that God didn't choose me last. He didn't choose me second. He didn't choose me third. The moment he thought about creating me, creating you, the moment the idea came into his mind that you were going to be alive and created, that I was going to be alive and created, you were chosen. I was chosen. Nobody came before me. Nobody came before you. Nobody came after. But the moment when the thought of you, instantaneously, he chose you in that moment. There was no waiting. There was no deliberating. There was no let me think about it. I was chosen. The moment he thought that the life of me would be, that the life of you would be. My prayer is that light will flood your hearts and you will understand the hope given to you when God chose you. He chose you in the moment. It was instantaneous. And the next part of this that tripped me up, maybe you guys can relate to this one. Then you will discover, so after he chooses you, then you will discover the glorious blessings that will be yours together with all God's people. And it was on the edge of my seat when it says, you'll discover the glorious blessings that will be yours. And then it said, together with all God's people. And I went, oh, hold up, wait up. And I started getting uncomfortable again. Together with all God's people. Together. A lot of people. You know what I thought? I thought there's going to be glorious blessings there. There's going to be a lot of people. There's probably not going to be enough for me. Like, there's going to be a lot of blessings. And when they run out, I'm probably going to be left out of that. Because I'm not good enough. I don't matter enough. Maybe I don't need it as much as those other people need it. And there's not going to be enough blessings for me. I'm just shooting it real with you guys here. And I can remember a time, y'all, I have memories back as far as I think when I was 3 years old, maybe younger, but I know at least 3. This was in first grade. In first grade, you know how sometimes when it's your birthday, like you bring cupcakes or cookies or something to all the other kids in class and stuff, and then you get to celebrate your birthday and you used to be able to bring treats from home. I don't think you can even do that anymore. But back in my day, you were allowed to bring cookies and cupcakes to share with your classmates to celebrate your birthday. And I remember bringing cookies. I don't remember what kind they were, but I remember bringing cookies in first grade to Miss Fleming's class. If you guys had her, you know, she was so sweet and so amazing, the best teacher. I think we had school in a trailer house at that point. But to Miss Fleming's class, I brought cookies. I didn't bring enough. I was 1 cookie short. And that, I think, has plagued me forever. I don't think about that thought all the time. I don't still think about that. But you all, when I cook food these days for my family or for people or to take to a party, whenever I make food, do you know how much I make? It is insane. I make enough for an army. And I always have the thought, like, I don't want anybody to feel left out. I want everybody to make sure they've had enough to eat, that they got all they wanted, that they didn't feel like, oh, I didn't get any, or oh, darn, I wanted more of that. Like, I don't want that feeling. Like, I believe it stuck with me from first grade when there wasn't enough cookies. And the teacher said, why don't you break it in half and share it with somebody, is what she said. Like, I think I should have gone without, but I don't think she had me go without. I don't know. But it made an impression on me forever, to where I cook like I am cooking for an army. Like, every single time we have massive loads of leftovers, because I don't want anybody to feel left out, like they didn't get any. So when I read this second half, then you will discover the glorious blessings that will be yours together with all God's people. I'm like, there's probably not going to be enough for me. They're probably going to run out. Can I tell you, unlike people, unlike what you've experienced with people, God does not run out. He will always have enough for you and for me, for us. There will always be enough. You will always be worth getting your abundant, glorious blessing portion. You will get all of it. And there'll be enough for you, and there'll be enough for me, and we'll be celebrating together, because we'll be both be getting all the glorious blessings, and they won't run out, and there will always be enough. Unlike people who make mistakes, who play favorites, who pick somebody else before other people. Unlike people, God chose you. And God always counts you in and makes sure there is more than plenty for you and me and everybody. He's not exclusive. He doesn't play favorites, and he has more than enough, plenty for you and me all the time. We don't need to be afraid. We don't need to feel like we're going to be left out. We don't need to feel like we don't belong or we're not chosen, because we're chosen, we belong, and we are included in everything, always, that he's ever done, that he's always wanted us. There's never been a moment of deliberation. There's never been a second guess. And I needed to hear that. And some of you, I think, needed to hear that. And I wanted you to know that today. That you are chosen. There was no question. In the instant he decided to create you, there was no deliberating. He loves you greatly, loves me greatly. And that in this party of glorious blessing together that we're going to be in with all God's people, there is more than enough for all of us. We're going to be celebrating together. Anyway, I hope this blesses you today. If you are feeling less than or left out or unwanted or unloved or not chosen or not strong enough or big enough to be picked in gym class until last, or maybe you feel left out at work or in a group of people or in family, maybe even in your own home, I don't know, where you feel like that. God's not like that. Be encouraged. Have a good one.